What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So I'm kind of late doing this review on MTV's True Crime Investigates on the Kenneka Jenkins case. I'm late because when that show aired tonight, I was so into it. It just took me all the way back to 2017. You know, when I was so invested into this case. I put so much time into looking into it and just like what happened to her and stuff like that, like so many other people. And it just got the best of my emotions when it first went off tonight. I couldn't even like, just contain myself at that moment. It just, like I said, it just brought up all those raw emotions all over again. So I was like, I'm gonna just wait a little while before I do the video because I don't want to get on camera crying and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it did take me there again. So the show starts off with this, like, I guess he's like a community activist named Demita Pongo. And he's gonna get together with MTV and, their production and cameras and stuff is gonna follow him around to go take a look back into the Kenneka Jenkins case. So he does that, and he kind of first give like a backstory to everything that had happened leading up to her death. And of course, he brought up Zach Stoner. He's known for Zach TV. He's passed away now. He also has Zach TV on YouTube, and he was the first one to get an interview of Irene after Kenneka passed away. And so Demita, he tried to call Irene a couple of times. He got her number and he tried to call her, but she never answered the call. She never called him back. And he said maybe because she's scared, so he understood that. And so what he did was just kind of like interview, like you would see family members on there, like her cousins, friends. There's these two other guys, I think they're her friends or her cousins. And then you're gonna see her uncle on there sharing his thoughts on everything, and Bree. But you kind of see Bree more at the end of the show because the show stayed on an hour. So he's talking to all these people, and everybody just come up with the same conclusion. Like, she did not just walk into that freezer and die. Like, something had to happen. Something happened. If somebody in that hotel room don't know what happened, somebody in the hotel know what happened to Kenneka that night. They had something to do with her death. And I always thought that. So I'm going to tell y'all how I feel towards the end of this show, how my feelings have changed towards certain things. Like, when you start to look at things from a different view, and it's been a while, like this happened back in 2017. And, like they didn't interview her mother. They just went back and showed all those old tapes from the recordings from when she called up to the hotel, when she called the police. They showed how the hotel just looked so eerie. And I mean, I know it was in the wee hours of the night. Like, the people are not going to be all on the hallways like they would in the middle of the day, because this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Nobody going to be out and about in the hotel like that, I guess. That's what they were trying to say. It's why the halls were so empty like that, and why nobody's seen. Why nobody just so happened to see this young girl, staggering up and down the hallways, in and out of elevators and stuff like that, and ending up lost in a basement floor of a hotel, into an abandoned kitchen or something, a kitchen that's not even being used, into the freezer. And then she's found dead in it the next day. So it's like they talked about all that, the same thing you see on so many of these YouTube videos. I even did videos on it a while back. So let's see, because I wrote a few notes. They talked about the party and how the kids are known to pop pills sometime with their drinks. But all of her family members and her friends, close friends and everybody, was like, but Kenneka did not do pills. She just didn't do pills. She ain't pop pills. She didn't like that kind of stuff. She tried it, they said, like one time, and she didn't like it. I think it was Irene when she did that interview with Zach, and she said she did it like one time, and she got like real drunk for her birthday. But she wasn't into pill popping. Like, some people, they just not with that. Some people don't even like to smoke weed. You have some people that just like to either drink or drink and smoke, or some people that just like to smoke, stuff like that. Like everybody is not into doing everything. And I guess it kind of seemed like a surprise. But again, the hotel, it's like they didn't show any concern. Like they just didn't care about this girl missing. Even when her mama called up there, you could listen to the calls. And I must say, the way that they showed from the angle, like when you watch it on TV, they gave you such a clearer version and a clearer view of the hotel and stuff like that, and how you seen her friends looking for her. Like her friends really did took the time out to walk around and look for her all the way up until the hotel pretty much told them they got to stop walking the halls. Y'all disturbing the guests. Y'all got to go. Y'all got to stop doing this. Like they just didn't care. And so I understand what the family and the friends were talking about. It's like it made me really feel what they were saying. Like back then when we were so into this case when it first started, we only was able to speculate a lot. But seeing it tonight, like from a different angle, from a different, from somebody else, like having it on TV like this just goes to show that this is not something that people just kind of want to sweep up under the rug. It just wasn't going to easily go away. And they thought that. So many people just feel so invested into this case for the same reason. That's why it is still here. That is why it is still a very hot topic till today, this child's death. And of course, they ruled it out an accident. We looked at the toxicology report, we looked at the autopsy report, we looked at all at the police report, and the police department said that that's why they wanted to have transparency in the case. That's why they went ahead and put it online. I even had printed the stuff out back then and read through it and try to learn all this big words and what all this stuff meant, because I was, like I say, so into this to find out what happened to her. And again, they ruled in an accident. That's what they concluded this case as. And so many of us was angry about it. I just couldn't just be, I wasn't satisfied with that answer. Like it can't be that. But again, like I say, we was looking at everything through our computer screens and on our phones. It's like seeing it on TV and stuff and getting a clear and detailed investigation from other people that the media talk to. You get you're kind of more open-minded to different things that you learn tonight on the show. Now I am not saying that I still don't think there was something that happened, but I will say that I don't think that like she was murdered, like based on what they say. Let's see how to put this. I don't think that, going by what the reports say, there was no signs of a struggle or like she put up a fight or she was raped or anything like that. So all I can do is go on it. But I won't say that somebody didn't try to hurt her in another way. And that takes me back to the drink. If the child didn't pop pills, how did all this stuff get into her alcohol? Somebody must have spiked her drink. Like I truly believe that happened. That happened. And that is still murder. It's still murder. They may not have like physically harmed her, but they did something to her drink. And I know it's going to be like hard to prove. Like you're just not going to be able to prove that unless somebody just up and confess about it now. But nobody's, I mean, you never know, because we didn't think that this show would air tonight, after all these years since she's passed, way back in 17. We didn't know that this would, we'll be talking back about this tonight and that it'll be on TV. And they also had these interviews with Zach. And it's like the way that Zach was interviewed, I don't know if those were like, old interviews from something else that I just missed, or have MTV been on this since then, since we were on it back in 2017. So I don't know, but it's just so sad that so much time has passed and people who were so, in tune to the case, not in tune, but so many people who was involved in trying to find out what happened. Her uncle, he's passed away since then. Zach Stoner, he got killed back in Chicago. And I know Zach based on his show and everything, he loved this city. He loved the people in his city. And just like he said, if anybody really wanted to hurt her, like, we not gonna take you out of town to a hotel and, set you up to get killed, lock you in a freezer. Like, they just gonna put a gun in your head and they just gonna shoot you. And I say, yeah, and I understand that too. I know that. But it's like the person who put the drinks in her drink. I mean, who put the pills in her drink. They wasn't thinking. They wasn't in their right mind. Or maybe they was. Maybe they just didn't care. They just wanted to see her on that level. Because people don't care. I've been out to parties. I didn't party. I didn't live long enough to know how people can be, just very, very sneaky in their ways. And they want to see you on another level. They don't want to exceed you and being intoxicated. They kind of want to see you, just out your character for a moment. Sometimes people that's like they get their kicks out of seeing you in a way that could embarrass yourself or something. Like, I don't put nothing past people. Everybody not your friend. Everybody's not for you. And it's like her friends probably just didn't know that had happened. I just don't think that her friends know that somebody had spiked her drink. Like I say, I believe that somebody spiked her drink and that's how she died, with all of that stuff in her system. Like, they didn't say it was an overdose. So I'm looking at it as an overdose, and she just so happened to be in a freezer. And she, like, them freezer doors, we got the freezer doors at work. And sometimes it's, you push them and it's like you'll think you locked in, but you gotta wait a while. Like, it shuts itself and stays shut tight for so long, and then you're able to push yourself out. But with all of that stuff in her system, she wasn't in her right mind. She wasn't thinking that way. And it's like she lost her mind when she was in there. And, and then, I don't know, she probably just overdosed. She overdosed because somebody put all them pills in her drink. That's what I think. And my heart still go out to her mama, her family, because I know that they are still hurting from this. I could only imagine, the woman lost her child. Also, like I say, the guy, he went to an independent investigator, and he was saying, as far as the tapes, we were thinking that maybe the tapes were tampered with. I was thinking that too because of the glitches. But he said, like I say, when we were looking at all this on YouTube, we were coming up with our own thing. But we never heard this from a person who specializes in this type of stuff. He said that there was no way that you can tamper it, take it out, chop it up, and then put it back together. He was like, there's no way possible that could happen. I've been doing this a long time. Then they went to this other investigator, and he was just pretty much saying it was an accident. Now, I don't think it was an accident. I look at it again as somebody who killed her, who drugged her, and that's how she died. Somebody still murdered her. I still feel like somebody murdered her with those pills in her drink. So, and I mean, he was like, the stuff, all the stuff on her feet, all the dirt and all that kind of stuff that we seen rubbed off on her feet. Her shoe was off. The picture of her in the freezer. That just comes from her, like, doing, hypothermia. Like, she just lost her mind. She didn't know what was going on with herself. But I still just don't see how, I don't know. Because I don't know. Like, it's still like a dead end to a lot of us. But that what I have, concluded with for myself. That's just my opinion. I'm just looking at it as like not an accidental death, that's for sure. I'm looking at it like an overdose. And it was an overdose based on somebody else, doing this to her. So, yeah. And then, another thing they didn't bring up was, you remember the security guard who was running all around and stuff? Or the little guy, I don't know if he was a security, but the little guy, he was just running all around a hotel that night. Nobody brought that up. Nobody brought that up. Showed not one picture of him on the show tonight. Not one video of him when they showed the the tape and everything of the hotel. So it was like, and then her friends, Monifa, Shamaya, and all them, and Bree, they was like, they didn't even want to talk to us. They didn't want to show us the tape. They didn't want to let us see nothing. They just told us that we need to get lost and stuff. And then that's when her mom and her sister come up to the hotel, and then they, confirmed that that was Kenneka's body that was in the freezer. So just real sad. Again, it just took me back there. And I just like broke down when the show went off. I'm like, let me get myself together so I could do this video and just say how I feel about it. They also interviewed Bree at the very end, and she was just in tears. You could tell that this child is still real hurt behind her friend. And she said that, and I don't know if these showed, like if this was, again, because the way they showed Zach, like they make you think that they did this a long time ago. MTV was on this years ago, probably back in 2018. So, but you can just tell by that when they showed Bree tonight, she was just breaking down and stuff. And then she gave, she told what happened that night and stuff. And they asked her what she missed about her the most, and she said her voice. She said, I miss her voice. And then they showed the funeral and everything, and they showed them trying to hold her up as, I think that was Bree, they was trying to hold her up as they were walking her out of the funeral because she just was taking it very hard. Yeah, so again, I don't think that her close friends had anything to do with her death, but I wasn't there. I really don't know. All I know is, some people will hide something from you and then help you look for it. Like, you can look at it like that too. Some people might say that. I don't know. All I can go by is what they showed on the show tonight, and they did. And they also showed that on those old tapes back then. We seen them walking around the hotel looking for her. So I just say, I don't know. You can look at it as see no evil, hear no evil. Like, nobody want to have nothing to do with it. I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing. You can conclude with that too. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I got from the show tonight. They also showed Jamal Green. He is a Chicago activist out there. He's also like, he also ran for what? The mayor of Chicago, I think. Yeah, so he sat down and talked, him and another activist out there up there in Chicago. So yeah, and I've been following Jamal Green on Facebook for a while now. I think like back then when Kenneka, when she passed away, that's when I started following. That's when I started following a lot of them from up there. Because I know they were so into this case and with the protests and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then they concluded with, like, I think that the thing is, this case, it created unity all over the world. So many people were so into this case all over the world. I mean, and this tragic death of Kenneka Jenkins brought people together. People were able to put so much aside and focus on this one thing. But at the end of the day, we still got to think about her mom because she lost her daughter. And, you just have to think about her family too. And not be so quick to go back to that same old, because, she's gone. She's not coming back. And ain't nothing we can do about that. All we can do is just come up with our own conclusions about it. We can't just keep going back to that same old and blaming her mom and all this. Like I say, I ain't into the conspiracy stuff. So anyway, like I say, I ain't really want to make this video too long, but I did want to speak on the show tonight. It gave me a different view on it. Like, I don't look at it the way I used to, and I'm glad that they did this. I'm glad that they were open to go back into her case and bring it to TV for us to see a whole different version and show that other people are also invested into this. I'm glad. I'm thankful for Demito Pongo for doing this and everything. So I wish that her mom would have talked, but I guess she can't because of the lawsuit and everything with the hotel, they gave a statement at the very, very end, but they kept it very limited and said that, you know, they just offering their condolences, and because of the investigation, there's not much that they could really say. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about on that. I'm pretty much done with it unless something else breaking, you know, come up about the case, something that, you know, some groundbreaking evidence that led up to her death. Other than that, I'm done. It's not really too much more that I have to say about it. Like I say, the show, it showed me something different tonight. It made me look at it in a different way. So anyway, leave y'all comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.